Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I'm DiBRAVA. And today's riddle is, soft males produce hard women. Hard women produce soft males. It's like a gorilla with a tail, or a land-walking whale. Truth is screamed to no avail, as the gears of society continue to fail. Okay, in this episode of OnlyFans on Trial, we have a group of intermediate and newly minted feminists who go to battle with Andrew Wilson as they fight to hold on to the soul of a delusional feminist dream. You ready to dive in? Let's get into it.
Let's see what else we had. Would you date a guy who is not a feminist?
That's how we're starting this? Oh, this is going to be good. Who would date a guy that was a feminist? I'm just saying. All right.
Who is not a feminist? And maybe also just add if you're a feminist, I guess.
What does that define as?
Well, there's different
I would say
definitions.
no.
Is it like third wave feminism?
I suppose, yeah. So wait, no, you would date a guy who is not a...
Andrew's eating. That tells you a lot. Okay, he's either been there for like 18 hours already, he's on the 19th hour, or he's just like, it's like, hey, you know what? Let me just enjoy the show for once.
A guy who is not a feminist, or no, you would not date a guy who is not a feminist?
If he's not a feminist, like, does he even care about you?
What did she just say? If he's not a feminist, does he even care about you? What does that mean? How does that make sense? Okay, let's see. Actually, if he is a feminist, he doesn't care about you, because that means he wants you to go out, get a job, work like a slave, do everything, do his job, pay for him. I mean, hello. You ever think about that? Like, oh my God. My head's already exploding.
And I'm not talking about like an extreme feminist, just like, you know, just like a little bit there. I would say no, I would not.
And do you consider yourself a feminist?
Yeah, but not like an extreme one. I don't go out shouting I'm a feminist.
Brian's taking notes now. I'm starting to think that Brian is just like auditioning for his wife on the show now. She's like, I'm not like a extreme feminist. He's like, yeah, I give her about an 8. Yeah, about an 8. Yeah, she's a contender. Yep.
Yourself a feminist?
Yeah, but not like an extreme one. I don't go out shouting I'm a feminist.
You just whisper it?
That was pretty funny, actually. That was pretty funny, Brian.
Feeling it on TikTok.
What about you?
I would date him, yeah.
Okay, what about you? Does a guy have to be a feminist for you to date him?
I've never really thought about that before, but I don't think he needs to label himself like, I'm a feminist.
Wait a minute. Hold on here. How is a guy a feminist? How are you a male and you're a feminist? Like, how does that work? Why would you be a feminist as a male? Are you a female? Why would you be a feminist? Hello?
But
He believes the things that feminists believe.
I wouldn't date him.
If he was not...
If he wasn't a feminist, I guess.
You would not date him. Okay, and are you a feminist?
Sure.
Okay.
So would I date a feminist man? Sorry, I'm getting just tired.
Yeah.
Sure, I would.
Okay, so wait a minute. Maybe they're talking about gay men. I still don't understand how you're a male and you're a feminist. It's feminism, female. I mean, now does he identify as a female? Okay, then he can be a feminist.
But the question was if he's not feminist.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for...
Sorry.
He is not a feminist.
If he's not feminist,
Would you date him if he's not a feminist?
yes, because I believe two people can date and have differing political ideologies.
Are you a feminist?
Not a third wave feminist, but I believe women should have the same rights in the workplace.
Okay.
But
Sure. Okay. What about you?
I would not date.
Well, if women are going to have the same rights in the workplace, does that mean they have to be held to the same standards? Usually no, right? Because we want to get paid to be in construction, but we just want to hold a sign. Don't walk. No crossing. While everybody else is like, 80 floors up, walking on a beam.
I am.
If he's not, okay.
I'm not a feminist, and I wouldn't date a feminist because they're annoying.
Nicolette's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, my husband's not a feminist, and I'm
Okay.
not either.
What's the definition that we're going based on?
Well, there's a lot of different definitions, but a movement, and I think Andrew typically says, movement towards egalitarianism or equality with a rejection of patriarchy.
Come on, there's not multiple definitions of feminism. Come on, common sense. They're going to tell you there's multiple definitions, but we all know what the ideology of a feminist is, okay? Come on. Does everything have to be so overcomplicated?
Okay. He would have to be a feminist
Okay.
in order for me to date him.
Two paired with two eyes.
I'm not that smart to get that.
Angelic, your answer to the question?
I would date someone who is not a feminist.
I'm not a feminist and I would not date a feminist.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'd be dating a woman. She's the only one that got it right. Like, is anyone going to say that, though? When are they going to say, like, well, a feminist is a woman, so I'm not gay, so, no, I wouldn't date a feminist. Like, hello?
Some interesting different answers here. Why would you not date a guy who is not a feminist?
I mean, I think...
Hold on, the question wasn't for you.
I'm just going off feminist as like very basic, cares about women's equality generally. So if he doesn't care about that, I just feel like...
Well, what if he believes in equality, but he's not a feminist?
It depends what we're defining as feminist. There's different definitions.
Like, my Kardashian Bible defines feminist in one way, and I'm not sure if you're going with that definition, so... Yeah. Uh-huh. Like, that girl's gotta be from California. Right? It's like, why does everybody talk like this from California? Like, everybody like has this like weird like voice. I can't. I'm a baby talker. Baby talker. Okay, all right. Here comes baby. I mean, give her a pacifier, will you?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with her.
Well, okay. I'll go back to the initial question. Why would you not date a guy who's not a feminist?
I got the answer. I would not date a guy that was not a feminist because I, as a woman, want to have to do all the work, make all the money. I want to have to raise the children and pay for them and pay for him and do all those things. I want to do everything a man does and be a woman. That's why. It's just like...
I think she answered that. No?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you have your own opinions on this. So.
Okay, so like he doesn't have to label himself as a feminist. Like I don't do that. But if he thinks that women like deserve unequal pay or women belong in the home, like I would not date him.
I had something else, but it slipped my mind.
Boy, these girls really just don't want easy lives. You know what I mean? It's like they're on a path where they just want to make their lives more difficult. Like, I don't want anybody that doesn't want, a woman in the workplace. I want to be in the workplace. It's like, it just makes absolutely no sense. Like, as a female, you're born with, like, privilege. Think about it. Females are literally born with privilege. And we don't want it. I mean, I just have never... Think about it this way. Would you be an heiress and just not want it? I'm Paris Hilton, but I don't want it. I don't want the money. I want to go out and work in Starbucks like the rest of everyone else. Okay? I'm dying to see somebody actually say something like that. Okay? It makes no sense.
What about you? Why would you not date a guy who is not a feminist?
It just doesn't align with my morals.
Morals, okay.
And I wouldn't exactly like date a guy who is a feminist. There's other qualities that I look for. So, yeah.
But if he wasn't a feminist, or if he was not a feminist, that would be a deal breaker.
Depends how strong of an anti-feminist he is.
Very strong.
Yeah, no.
Very strong.
That's the first word out of Andrew's mouth yet. He must be like, oh my God. Oh, these girls are brainless.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how you can even have levels to it, right? You're either pro-feminist or pro-feminism, or you're not pro-feminism, right? It's like it's really just either one or the other. I don't know how you could just be kind of feminist. It's like you just are a feminist and believe in the feminist ideals, or you don't. I don't really know how you could be in between on that one.
And I don't think most people know the true definition of feminism. People equate it to like women's rights because the word feminine is in there, but that means equal to both sides. That means you guys are splitting the first date and everything thereafter.
Yeah.
You realize how dumb what she's saying is? Like these girls, but this is the same girl that's on Pornhub, okay, and OnlyFans, and wants men to pay her to do X. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand this. I really don't. This is so stupid, this conversation. It's mind-boggling. ChatGPT definitely came up with this question for Brian.
So I don't know if they know that.
I mean, it's not clear to me if feminism is about equality.
I think it is.
I look more for equity than equality.
This question is like, this would be like saying, would you date a woman that isn't MGTOW? Well, how could a woman be MGTOW? It's men going their own way. Do you understand why this question makes no sense? Brian, you got to get off of Chat GPT 4. It's not working for you. Better questions, please.
Like, hey, hang on real quick. Before you tell us, are you about to use a standing on the box analogy to look over a fence?
That's one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Let's listen, let's hear it.
He's heard it all before. Poor Andrew. He's like, Rachel, bring me the Advil. Motrin right now, something. She's going on to the box on a man and a fence and something. Oh, God.
Well, I guess using the one that he said, like standing on a box, like if one person is short and one person is tall, you're not just going to give both of them like one box. You're probably going to give the shorter person 2 boxes.
Okay.
But is that
Wait, so, wait, just show of hands really quick. Who here is a feminist? I think you. Okay, you 4. And do you believe in equality or equity?
Equity.
Equity. What's the difference? I'm a little confused.
Like I said, like giving both one box is equality.
So, question on that. I've heard some feminist arguments about, well, equality would be, for example, both men and women being subject to military conscription, the way that men are currently, but women aren't, but it would be equality for both men and women to be subject to forced military conscription. But I've also heard that it's not equity to have women be, have to register for the draft, selective service. What's your position on that? Do you think women should be subject to the draft, forced military conscription, the same way men are? Or
good job, chatbot.
It's equity the way it is currently?
I think it's just fair the way it is.
It's fair the way that it is. So just
no, it's not. Nothing's fair. Nothing's fair. Okay? Not when you're talking about stuff like this, especially military. You show me how anything with involving a woman, okay, in the military is fair to any of the men serving. It's not. Because the men have to take up for the women. Women are not even as good as at the clerical work in the military. That's how sad that we've become. Men are even better nurses now. Okay? Yeah.
to be clear, wait, just one sec. So currently, men have to register for selective service. If they don't, there's a bunch of negative ramifications. They can't vote. They miss out on certain federal programs. They can't get federal jobs. It's technically a felony. There's a fine. They can face prison time. So men can be drafted. They have to register for the selective service. Women don't have to register for the selective service. They can't be drafted. Can you explain to me how that's fair?
Well, I feel like men shouldn't have to be, but if it had to be one, I would say men. But I think that sucks that they have to.
Wait, but so
who's supposed to keep America, America? Not that we're in America anymore, okay? But let's think about it. So you want all your freedoms, but you don't want anybody to have to do the work for it. I mean, how about we get some sense?
Given the reality that men do have to register with the selective service, and that governments and nations they're not going to relinquish their right to force their citizenry into a military conflict, should women equally have to register too?
I personally don't want to, but I wouldn't be entirely like against it.
Well, it wouldn't really be like, if there was a draft, it wouldn't really be your choice, right?
To get drafted?
Right.
No. If I like sign up for it, no.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm confused what you're asking.
Well, so you might be against having to make women be subject to military conscription, but if they were subject to military conscription, a woman couldn't say, well, if they do get drafted, well, don't really want to do that. So the whole point of a draft, military conscription, is you get forced to do it, right? So are you fine with women being forced into military service the same way men are?
Yeah, I guess.
Can I input?
How could you just say, yeah, I guess? You're a feminist, right? What do you, like, how is it, yeah, I guess? We're talking about the military. Okay, this is the other thing with America, okay? These people don't take America or the freedoms that we actually still have. Let's be real here. We're not completely communist yet, but we don't take our freedoms seriously, okay? Because they haven't really been taken away yet. Okay, you understand how that works? Not on a large scale that affects the average everyday person. I'm not talking about, you know, the tube and free speech and all of this stuff. I'm talking about real rights. I'm talking about the right to walk out of your house wearing what you want. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, we don't respect this country, nor the freedoms that we're given. And we're not going to until they're taken away. Like when China comes here and takes over, or, you know, some Arabic country and we're all covered up and can't do anything. And when you're getting stoned for, you know, having a child out of wedlock, okay, whether you were E-part or not. You see what I'm trying to say? It's pretty crazy. They talk about the Handmaid's Tale, but they don't appreciate America for what it is.
Yes.
I think
real quick before you get into it, I'm sorry, hold the thought for just a second. I just wanted to ask a quick follow-up question on the idea of the boxes with the looking over the fence in the boxes. So the idea here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that if two people are going to look over a fence, one's 5'4" and the other one is 5'9", and the fence is 6 foot, you're going to give one a different size box than the other so that both can see over the fence, right? That's the idea of equity?
Correct.
Okay. Why is it, though, that there should be some obligation that both can look over the fence?
Like why they should look over the fence?
No, why is...
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. It's the everyone's a winner theory. Get it? Okay, that's not how life works. Because a LeBron James exists, okay? And he was just blessed with genetic royalty. You understand how that works? Everybody shouldn't be able to make the same money and do the same thing that LeBron James does, because we're not all born, you know, with the skills that he has. Just like everybody on YouTube isn't talented, okay? Yeah, get it? But everybody wants to be at the top. And now we have a society where places like YouTube take mediocreness and put it at the top and suppress others. This is where we're at. Everybody shouldn't be able to look over the fence because that's just not how life works. Now, they might be able to do something better than the other in another genre, but hey, you have to make the best of the card you were dealt. That's life.
An obligation to make sure both can.
Just so they can? I don't know. I didn't think of it that deep.
No. So there should be a reason why we want both people to look over the fence. The explanation for what equity is is saying that both people should be able to look over the fence, and if they both should be able to, we're giving them different sized boxes so that one has a leg up over the other so that both of them can. But why in the world do we have the expectation that both should?
Because it's fair.
Oh my God, this is the best. This is Andrew. Literally, you just made me. This is actually so important. The point that he is making here is so crucial. Okay, it's the OnlyFans model theory too. You know, his wife Rachel was arguing this before. Look, sweetheart, you're not a model. Everybody is not a model. We're not all born to be 5'11" and 100 pounds with walking down a runway because clothes hang a certain way. Okay, we're not all born models, and nor should we expect to be. But today, they're all models. See all these girls sitting here? They're all model quality females. You see that? Ridiculous.
Because it's fair.
Fair. Well, it doesn't seem very fair if you get a box that's bigger than my box because of my immutable characteristics for how I was born, my height in this case. It seems like that's unfair to me.
But you're both looking over the over the fence.
Yeah, so what? You still get a bigger box, though. That's not fair.
You're still looking over the fence.
Yeah, but I don't have as big a box. Why can't I? We would still both be looking over the fence if we both had the same size box.
What you're wanting to say is like equal opportunity.
For instance, if you needed a 4-inch box to look over the fence, and I only needed a 2-inch box to look over the fence, wouldn't we both still be looking over the fence if we had a 4-inch box?
Yeah.
Real quick, do you hear her say equal opportunity? Okay, what she's really talking about is socialism. This is why Russians didn't create the iPhone. Get it? Because when you're a doctor making the same pay as a janitor, there's no incentive there to be great. That's how that works. America gives us incentives to be great, and we all have an opportunity to get that. Different ways, different outlets, right? But we have the capabilities and the opportunity to take what we've been gifted, make ourselves the best we can, and find an outlet to become great, to become the American dream. Get it? In Russia, you don't, because the government tells you what you're going to do, and it's all equal. That's called equal. Equal. We don't want that. Hello?
I'll just leave it there.
I want to put in the idea of equal value. So I'm not against gender roles whatsoever. I actually do follow them to an extent. But in the case of like serving in the military, I don't think women should have to be expected to do that. Men are physically stronger. They can be of value in that way, and women can be of value in another way. And I think I'm not like taking equality literally as we have to do the same things, but we can do different things and they're equal in value.
When the war breaks out, I want to stand in the kitchen. You cannot do that. They have to do the same thing as a man does.
Right. Do you think, like, for example, so there's ranks in the military. Women are able to volunteer for the military. Despite there being different physical requirements, my understanding, I'm not an expert in the military, if you're the same rank as a man.
Could you imagine Brian in the military? I can't even imagine Brian holding a gun. I can't even imagine him being a cook in the military. Brian, you don't want that.
Rank as a man, I'm pretty sure you get paid the same. Now, maybe somebody's been in the military, maybe if like your job designation, is there a difference in pay? Even if you're the same rank, if your job in the military is different. So one person, they're infantry, and this other person, they're a mechanic? I don't know. Anybody in the military can answer this? I'm not sure. But
yes, there's all sorts of different things. There's combat pay, there's hazard pay, there's all sorts of things that you get if you're in a combat zone versus if you're stationed stateside and you're, doing payroll and things like that. There's all sorts of different various pay scales, even within the pay scale. So you have two E4s. One is in Iraq, They're going to get a separation from family pay. They're going to get hazard pay. They're going to get combat pay. They get all sorts of additional incentives and pay for being in combat. So it's not just uniform across the board on pay.
Sure. I guess so. Back to your point, you said, well, men are stronger. So then would you be in favor of barring women from volunteering for the military?
I think they could have the opportunity. I don't think it should be a requirement.
Right, but you said, well, when it comes to the draft, men are physically stronger, so it should be men.
Yeah.
And not women. Well, so then should they then be barred from volunteering if they're not as capable? Because that's what you're saying, right? Women aren't as capable.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, if they're just as capable, why can't we draft them for military service?
Yeah, honestly, they aren't.
Wait.
If we're talking about physical strength, like, I think that's...
Are people born this stupid, or do you think it's this is the result of who raised her? I'm just curious. Because, I mean, learning, you know, parents have to take some accountability here, too, okay? Because I don't really think anyone's born stupid like that. Not really. I mean, unless you have an issue, you know, some kind of health, right, fine, right? But somebody never taught her anything, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Like, not to show up on the whatever podcast, first of all. You get it? I mean, what, like... Where are the parents? This is what happens when your mother, you know, the whole, from birth to now, was on like social media or on her iPhone. You know what I mean? It's like where the parents take no accountability. They're not raising children. This is the result of it. Like, how stupid can this girl be? She can't even comprehend what Brian is asking her. But you're on a panel that requires you to answer questions. Whoa.
Well, let's. You could draft women. I mean, I'm frankly in favor they can go to the front line, but you can draft women, and
Madison's auditioning over here for Brian's wife. She's like, "See, I can hold the baby. You see, look. Oh no, look. See, I can even hold it and rock it. It's, you know, it's doing it. What is going on with the babies now?" Oh.
And they can perform auxiliary sort of jobs in the military. The military needs paper pushers. They can, there's a bunch of stuff that they can do in the military that doesn't necessarily involve.
Correct. To further this point for you, Brian, it's something around 1% to 2% of actual military personnel, I believe, who actually fight in any sort of combat situation.
Right.
And that's during wartime even. It's a very low percentage of people who actually fight combat, with everybody else being in a position of support.
Yeah.
But Lieutenant Amy, who's another one that Andrew battled, you know, these women think that, you know, I want to be frontline combaters. I want to be on the front line. It's like, first of all, no, you don't want to be on the front line. And you claim you were on the front line, and you also weren't on the front line.
A lot of support roles. So
yeah, so that's kind of what I meant by equal value. So women can be in a support role, and it's still just as valuable as.
What?
It's not
I don't know if that's as valuable. I don't know if that's as valuable.
The military itself doesn't think it's just as valuable, which is why they give different ribbons and different medals and different accommodations for people who are in different jobs. They don't even consider them to have the same value. So, for instance, you're not going to get a combat medal if you weren't in combat, for instance. That's how that would work. So even the military does not.
Unless you're Tim Waltz. Inside joke for those of anyone in the know gets that.
Scale these equally and consider some to have more merit than others, some to have more dangerous jobs than others.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm talking about value more in terms of gender, generally.
Yeah, I don't understand, though, how that would equate. What would the...
Yeah, I don't really understand either. I just said it to say it. Like, I'm just like saying it to say it. I really don't get it either, but it, like, sounded good. Yeah, just gender and things and such and whatever. And my Kardashian Bible just said, as long as you speak it into existence, it is real.
Value be. Women can't be deployed to combat. They would be a liability, right?
Oh, Lord. Okay. So, I have absolutely no words for the scarecrow over here. Who was clearly raised without a brain. I mean, what is this, the Wizard of Oz? I mean, literally, first of all, the fact that this conversation started the way it did, with would a female, these are all females here. Well, I think they all identify as females. Would you date a male that was not a feminist? Which again, it's not possible to be a male and be a feminist. Like I said, that would be like asking a man, would you ever date a woman that wasn't MGTOW? Guys, it doesn't get any crazier than the Whatever podcast right now, right? Lord have mercy. All right. Well, this was an interesting one, right? Feminists be gone. That's all I have to say. Andrew, keep up the good work. I'm DiBRAVA. Hope you had fun. See you next time.